Hello everyone, I am Kaustav 516. Hope you all are safe and healthy. I personally remember being greatly benefited by the InternGyan session when I was a second year undergrad, and I'm glad to be a part of this virtually. Uh, I remember our session being a 2 hour long session, so it's really not possible to talk about everything in depth in a 10 minutes video, but I'll try to cover a basic overview. So, about myself and my intern history, well, my research interests include various subfields in astrophysics and cosmology, and I shall be joining Caltech this year to pursue my PhD in astrophysics. I interned last summer at the Department of Astronomy, Harvard University, and previously I have interned at the National Center for Radio Astrophysics, Pune, and TIFR Mumbai. So I'll start from the very general facts. So basically, there are two ways in which you can secure an research intern. Either you apply through a program or you individually contact a research group. So as far as the programs are concerned, like SNBOS, DAD, Charpak, MITEX, again, they would fall into two subcategories, where for some of them, you'd need to find a professor who is willing to take you before actually filling the application. Example, in the case of DAD and Charpak, while for some others like MITEX, you need not worry about that and directly apply. Apart from the standard programs that most likely counseling service will share with you in an Excel sheet, there are some astronomy or physics specific programs like the VSRPs and the VSPs of IUCA Pune of the TIFRs, Astron and LEAPS program of Netherlands, summer programs in Max Planck for astronomy, etc. So ping me if you would want to know more about astronomy specific interns. So next I'll move on to the question of when do I really need to start preparing and how. I'm unsure of, given the present uncertainties due to COVID, whether the deadlines for the programs would remain the same as earlier years. But assuming they would, I would advise that you have your CV prepared by summer break. I think it's also extremely useful to have your CV reviewed by your friends or seniors. Also, nearly for almost all the programs, you would need to write something sort of a statement of purpose, where you would need to mention your research background, explain your story, assert why that research opportunity is the perfect one for you. So if you prepare a general outline of such a statement of purpose, you can use that for almost all the programs, regardless of the word limits. You can just use subsets of that. There could be some special instructions for some specific programs which you could focus later on. I think the earliest deadline is for DAD, where you would need to first find a professor who will agree to take you for an intern in Germany, and you can find further details in their websites. Now, coming to the second option, how to sort professors and how to mail them. So this is the option where you actually send out emails to professors and research groups of your interest and request them to take you for an intern and provide fundings if required. The first question will be how to search for professors. Well, there's no golden formula for that. One way would be that you visit the university pages and look through faculty homepages and what their research interests are. Another way could be that you ask faculty members that you know or you have already worked with, and ask them if they know someone or they could guide you to. As you will also find out, this whole process of emailing profs and waiting for their replies is an extremely tiring process. You could be spending hours writing an email only to have the professor probably not even open it. So yep, this whole process requires extreme patience, but trust me, it's worth it in the end. Also, to answer the common question, how to get an intern in top universities, my advice would be that please don't write extremely generic mails here. As would be obvious, a professor in an Ivy League or any top place gets hundreds of mails from all over the globe. So make sure that in your mail you show genuine interest and enthusiasm towards the research work of the professor. There could be a few ways to do that. Either you show in your mail that your previous research experience somehow connects to this, Or if you are new to the field, and that's perfectly fine. I mean, you are a third year undergrad. No one expects you to be an expert in any field anyway. So in that case, what's essential is that you carefully go through the research areas and the abstracts of recent papers of that group and mention explicitly the specific areas that interest you. And an icing on the cake would be even that you suggest some open questions that in the field that you'd like to explore with their group. Next, coming to the question, how to ask for funding. Well, if you have external scholarship or funding available, you should mention that in the email, like something like, if you shall invite me, I shall be able to fund my stay through XYZ scholarship. In case you don't have the funding, you can mention that you would need funding. The exact amount you could work out in need not be mentioned in the first mail, and you could work that out in subsequent exchanges. Now the question of any specific skills or a way of preparing during the early years. I think the answer for that would depend on the subfield of physics. A general answer would, of course, be to do your course as well. For an astronomy intern, especially in observation or computation astrophysics, I think it would be really helpful if you can say that you are comfortable with coding in Python, which is the mostly used in astronomy community these days. A basic introduction to the theory of astrophysics will also be of great help. If you're interested, you can message me for details. I mean, it will probably take me a whole video to say about how you can gain that basic knowledge, but I'd be happy to if you want to know more. Next, a very confusing question that everyone tends to be worried about is how and who to ask for your letter of recommendations. So I think the best person to get an letter of recommendation or LOR is from someone with who you have done research project with. Remember that longer the association of the person with you, the more weightage it carries. Also, of course, if that person is someone well known in the field, that helps as well. It really helps if the professor knows you in person and has a more informed opinion on your research abilities rather than just your grades. Also, as far as the how to ask part is concerned, it's best that you mail the professor well in advance and give them at least around 30 days to write and send the LOR. How was my work experience last summer? It was awesome. My supervisor and other members in the research group were super sweet and helpful. Harvard Astronomy Department is one of the finest in the world, and I was extremely lucky to have met and interacted with some of the best researchers in their field. Moving on to the last part, what do I think are the future prospects in this field? Well, there's never been a more exciting time than now to be in astrophysics. There's an explosion of that data from various surveys, new mind-blowing discoveries, and theories are popping up almost every day. It's really exciting times. So I'll stop here. I hope I have been able to answer some of your queries in this little time. Feel free to ping me. I'll be more than happy to be of any help.